Hey everyone, this is Cory from Wet Shaving Products, and today we're at Razor Emporium with Matt Pisarcik. Matt, if you want to say hi.
Hey everyone, Matt Pisarcik, Razor Emporium.
Right on.
I'm here with Cory from WSP, and we're going to be doing some fun, I guess.
Right on. And today's beer of choice is
Today's beer of choice is a Hefeweizen.
a Hefeweizen. We get that. And it's from Walter Station Brewery, which you enjoy often,
yeah,
just
right
down
across
the
the street.
road. Right on. Would you like to give us some details about this beer?
You know what? Hefeweizens are wheat beers, right, that are unfiltered, and it's a German-style beer, and it's great for drinking in the summer. It's great when it's hot, and in Arizona in July, it is hot, and I'm looking forward to drinking this bad boy.
All right, well, let's crack them open and
right.
start this thing.
Okay. Bam. You're going to want to, I'm sure you know, you're probably the master at pouring.
Tilt it down.
Well, especially with a beer like this. It's gonna generate a lot of head. That's okay. You know, some people think head is bad, that you got, you know, all this foam, but honestly, I like to stick my nose just right in it. That's where all the effervescence is coming from. All the notes are really just blooming to the surface. That's a good beer.
And what kind of notes can we expect in this beer?
Banana, clove, yeast, you know, weedy. It's like a bowl of cereal, basically, or orange juice. And you can see the consistency, the color. So that's that unfiltered nature. It's a beautiful beer.
Awesome, it looks tasty.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Delicious. It tastes really good at 10 o'clock in the morning, too.
Right on. Well, we're here at Razor Emporium. What is Razor Emporium? What do you guys do here?
What is Razor Emporium? Such an esoteric question. I like it. It's like a philosophy class. Razor Emporium is kind of a offspringing of a personal razor collection I started like 15 years ago. I was, you know, going out and buying and trading and collecting old razors, and I started having duplicates, and I'm like, I gotta sell these somewhere, and so I made a website just to sell my extra pieces of my collection. And before you knew it, people were asking me for, you know, hey, can I get some blades from you? How about a soap, a brush? And so I just kept on adding more and more products to the Emporium. Today it is our retail business. We're located here in Phoenix, Arizona. We're in a 10,000 square foot warehouse. We employ 7 full-time technicians who do nothing but razor restoration and razor sharpening, polishing work. We do electroplating services. We restore old Gillette razors back to their original glory. And then we also retail and sell tons of awesome shaving goods from all around the world, including you guys from WSP right here in Phoenix. We retail WSP products, which we're really happy to have. And yeah, we ship all around the world, and so we're an e-commerce business. You know, we do have some people who come here to the lobby. We do have a nice kind of, you know, somewhat attractive looking lobby where people can come in and buy some of the products in person. We may get 4, 5, 6 customers a day, but we really sell mostly online. So that's what Razor Emporium is. That's why there's a pile of machinery behind you, is because it takes all of this to do all the razor restoration we do. And I'm really happy to say that, and not bragging too much, I think we're the largest razor restoration center in the world, which may sound impressive. I always say that I'm the only idiot that wanted to do it and wanted to be the guinea pig to figure out how to do all this, but that's what Razor Emporium is. It's a lot. It's a mouthful.
How fast has Razor Emporium grown since you started?
So I started collecting in 2005, 2006, and I started the actual business, and I coded the website myself in 2010, and we had our first sale in 2010. But I was still working I was working a day job. I was a director of marketing for a local hospital, and doing this kind of at night, you know, moonlighting, so to speak. And then that company, the hospital company, they got merged, and I was called down to HR one fateful day, and they said, Matt, we've got someone like you in the new company. You're out. Pack up your bags. And that was 2013, and I was like, man, do I really want to go work for someone else again, or am I just going to try to make this happen? And so 2013 was the beginning of me becoming self-employed. It was just me in the garage, and I did have a business partner at the time. It was just kind of us just hammering it out and working. But we opened our first workshop in 2014, and then we bought this place in 2018, and so I mean it's kind of been all within the last 10 years. It's all kind of ramped up.
Awesome.
But it's taken a lot of effort and a long time. So I'm sure anyone who's an entrepreneur knows. I'm not unique. That's just the entrepreneur story. It takes a long time.
So, as anyone knows, and as you said, you started this with a collection, and
Sure.
as you go to the front, you can
Right.
see your awesome collection there.
Right.
What got you started in collecting?
You know, I hate to sound cliche, but I was a lot like a lot of the guys out there. I'm sure guys that you guys hear from on emails and phone calls and communications that come in and say, I'm just getting torn up. I'm getting razor rash. I'm getting irritation. I need a better way to shave. And I was in the exact same boat. I was in college, going to ASU, and I had to start shaving more. My beard was starting to come in, and I was using what my brother used. I had two older brothers, and I looked in the bathroom, and they got a Mach 3. I guess that's what I should be using. Try the Mach 3, and I'm getting razor irritation. I was like, what's my dad using? My dad walks around in his underwear, shaving with an electric razor at night. Hey, get in bed, boys. Okay, I'll try electric razor. Oh, even worse. Tore my face up even more. So I get on the interwebs, right? This is like 2005. I get on, whatever website was out then, Yahoo. And I read some article that says if you get irritation with the Mach 3, you should try going to instead of 3 blades, go to 2. So it's sensor, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, sensor. Try that out. It's a little bit better. And I said, well, if 2 is better than 3, is 1 better than 2? And so what's a one-bladed razor? It's called a double-edge razor. And at the time, there was literally one place to buy online, and it was Classic Shave. I'm sure Leighton knows about Classic Shave. And I was a college student. I didn't have a lot of money, and I'm like, I can't afford a Merkur 34. This is $55 plus shipping. Then I got to buy blades. This is just too much for this experiment, right? So it said you can maybe find a vintage one at an antique store. So I was like, oh, okay, I like antique stores. I'll go down there. I go down to antique store. I'm like, hey, do you have double-edge razors, whatever these are? And the guy said, I happen to have a shoebox full. And for that same $55, I got a shoebox full of double-edge razors. And I had some of the classics, Gillette Fat Boy, Gillette Slim, Red Tip, Aristocrat, all these classic Gillette razors from yesteryear. And I was like, look at all these cool razors, but what is this from? How do I clean this? How do I fix this? This one doesn't open right. And that just started the whole kind of dominoes falling of wanting to not only use it, and I got the blades, and I was like, yeah, this is great. I started getting a better shave, but then I wanted to, figure out what makes this one different from this one. This one's from 1921. This one's from 1955. What's the difference? This one doesn't open right. How do I fix it? Let me get my tools out. And it just kind of started very organically. In the cliche of necessity is the mother invention, it was purely out of necessity for myself, but very quickly, I'm sharing my story with chat rooms and places. That's actually where I met Leighton, was on Straight Razor Place, sharing the story and asking questions. And I realized that there was a need. And people were like, hey, you fixed up this razor. I see you sold it. Can you fix up my razor? Hey, I see that you sell razors. Do you sell blades? And so it just kind of the dominoes kept on falling. I kept on saying yes. I'm like, that movie with Jim Carrey, the Yes Man. I just kept on saying yes. Yeah, I'll carry some blades. Yeah, I'll carry some soaps. Yeah, I'll figure this out. Yeah, and even the video education, the video series. Our YouTube channel as of right now, we have 36,000 subscribers. We have 7 million views. I got 250 videos online. It all came out of a necessity of not wanting to answer emails. I love you guys. I love everyone out there, seriously, but it gets a little bit old writing the same email again and again. So I was like, I know, I'm just going to shoot a video to answer this question, and when someone asks me the question, I just link them the video.
Awesome.
But that's now where people hear about us from. So I know, again, I gave you way more of an answer than you wanted, but that's where the necessity came from.
As you're learning these things, and outside of the comfort and from finding the right kind of razors and how to shave properly to get a nice shave that doesn't hurt, no razor bumps.
Sure.
You get the joy out of that. How much joy are you getting just in the process of learning about this world?
It was a blast. I've always been a student of history. I love ancient cultures, and so and then I have a degree in marketing, and so learning about Gillette and their history and their old models and why they went from this style to this style, and looking at the old advertisements and the old cases, and I just fell in love. It was so much fun. In fact, one of my greatest privileges to date, and I'm not even joking, was the ability to go to Procter & Gamble corporate archives in Cincinnati, Ohio, by invitation, and I got to comb through their old historic records of the company, because Procter & Gamble acquired Gillette in 2005, and they received all these boxes. I mean, literally 900 boxes, like banker boxes, full of documents from the Boston plant. And a lot of them were old razors, but a lot of them were just notes, like literally handwritten notes. And I look at the letterhead, and it's literally the CEO of the company. And here's a handwritten note from the CEO about why they changed some feature on the Gillette Fat Boy. And I'm like, I feel like Indiana Jones, discovering this, like this path. Like, how did they get to this razor, and why did they change this? And to be able to go to that archives and dig through it was like tickling all of my brain. It was all the history, all the mechanics, all the inside knowledge, all the consumer marketing. They did focus studies, they did test groups. It's a complete sensation. What's that Japanese word for every part of your tongue gets tickled, with the flavor at the same time? I forgot. Maybe
Got me on that one.
Well, there's some Japanese word. Please tell me in the comments, right? If all four of your sensations of your tongue get stimulated at the same time, it's like nirvana for your tongue. That was nirvana for me. Was going there and just like the razor brain and the history brain. Got to, I had to put the little white gloves on. I mean, I got to hold the original patent, not a copy, the original patent of Gillette from 1904.
That's awesome.
And people think it's just razors, but it's not just razors. Like, Gillette changed the way men look. I mean, I know you're sporting the badass beard over here, right? And it's fantastic. But that's by choice. You got to remember, the year is 1900 or 1895. You did not have that choice. That was pretty much the case. Unless you had the wherewithal and the money to own a straight razor and then have to upkeep it. Shaving was a complete luxury. Shaving was something for the aristocrat class. The commoners had beards, and they didn't maybe want a beard. They couldn't afford to shave. If you wanted to go to the barber shop, you had to go down, and there was people waiting out the door. It was unhygienic. It was a dirty place. They were doing bloodletting in there. They were doing minor surgeries, which is why the barber pole is veins and arteries. That's the red and the blue, right?
Right.
And so it was not a good place to go. You could get a staph infection. You could get cut. Like, they were not, cleaning blades in between usage. So going to the barber shop wasn't an option, and owning a straight razor was expensive. Gillette came in and changed that and said, no, every man can shave. And that the original advertisements were groundbreaking. They changed the way men look at themselves. And Gillette thought of it. He was in a railroad car. He was a traveling salesman for a corking company. And he was in a railroad car trying to hold a straight razor as it's going down the tracks. And he cut himself. He's like, there's just got to be a better way. And that's when he thought of this idea of a disposable blade that, we can sharpen it. And then once you're done, you just throw it away. And it's so cheap, you can afford it. And so he changed the world. I mean, and men started wearing, suits and ties and looking nice. And, even gas masks during the First World War, Gillette was contracted to issue the khaki razors to all soldiers because they couldn't, if you had a beard like that in World War I, you were going to die of mustard gas. And so they had to shave so they had a nice tight fit for their gas mask. I mean, Gillette has been there and has changed history. That's why I'm still in awe of them. And yeah, today it's easy to look at them and say, oh my gosh, they're making these 5-blade cartridges. They're doing what they're always done. They're making money, and they're making a product that people can use that's easy. What we do today is archaic to them. Oh, I want to use a double-edged blade, and I want to have to, go online for my resources. That's so new. Going down to Target and buying a 5-blade razor, that's pretty revolutionary still.
Awesome.
Sorry, I'm really good at these big, long, esoteric speeches.
You answered another question I was going to ask, a little history of the razors themselves.
Yeah.
In regards to knowledge and gaining knowledge, you seem like a very knowledgeable man. You make videos. I'm sure you talk to your customers. Yeah. You interact with the community. How often are you still learning things from others, whether customers or online? Or
we literally have a guy in our building as we're filming this who is here to teach us. He's a customer. I was just telling Leighton about this. He in this community, in any community, if we were into, I'm a guitar player, if you talk to the guitar community or muscle cars, guns, whatever community, there's always going to be power users. There's always going to be the guys who are super enthusiastic, that are on the cutting edge of knowledge about, the newest and latest and greatest. And as a business owner, I could do two things. I could try to compete with them and try to be on my computer every night and Reddit and reading about the latest and greatest, or I could go ask them. And at this point, I like to ask them, I say, hey, and every time I see some of these guys who are like longtime customers, hey, what's new out there? What am I missing? What is happening in the world? What's the scuttlebutt, You can learn so much from your customers. And so this gentleman who's in here today, he's like super into honing. He will talk to you for 30 minutes about the difference between this stone and that stone and this stone and how many laps you need to do and concave stones, convex stones. And so he's actually talking with our newest Honemeister who's training here in our shop and kind of giving her some pointers because he does this for fun at night. So he's like a total power user. He's the guy you want to learn from. So I love talking to our customers. They tell me what's going on. They tell me the newest soap on the market. Have you tried this new one? It's got donkey milk in it. Oh, donkey milk. Okay, I guess that's a thing now. This one's got pig milk. Pigs have milk? Okay, all right. So you can learn a lot from your customers. Pay attention because they're going to tell you the next trend.
Right on. In regards to learning, for those who don't know razors that well, they're just getting into this realm. Even when I first started working at West Shaving Products, I was learning more and still learning more. But let's get to the basics. What is the difference between a double-edged razor, a safety razor, and a straight-edge razor versus cartridges and electric razors? Why would you want to use those?
Straight razors are kind of the grandfather of them all, right? It's a piece of steel that's been hardened in an oil bath in a kiln and then sharpened. And so it's literally just the most basic form. It's a sharp piece of steel that you're going to drag across your face, right? Straight razors are still very popular today. There's a lot of little guys in Germany and big guys in Germany that still make them. France, a lot of guys in the US like to grind them. In fact, right behind you, this workstation that has all these loops of belts, we grind our own straight razor in-house, and we make our own straight razor right here. In fact, just yesterday, Eric made 3 straight razors. Still very much popular, but it's kind of the exception to the rule. The biggest trend right now, and has been for the last 10 years, has been double edge, right? So that is the original Gillette style, where you have a thin, disposable wafer sheet metal piece of steel or stainless steel, and it's going to get sharpened, and you're going to put that into a handle that you're going to have the handle forever, right? And then you can just throw the blades away. So the straight razor needs a lot of upkeep, right? It needs to be sharpened and honed and oiled and all this fun stuff. The disposable blade was Gillette's invention. That was what he thought of it in the railroad car. Like, can I have this somehow be disposable and cheap? So you can throw those blades away when they're dull. They do make little sharpeners for them, but the price of blades is 10, 15, 20 cents. No one needs to sharpen a double-edged blade anymore. It was a thing during the Great Depression when you couldn't get blades, or World War II. They had little sharpeners so you can maintain them. Cartridges came out of the 1960s, and it was Gillette's attempt to stay on top of patent law, meaning Gillette couldn't keep on getting patents issued to them for the double-edged blade because they couldn't think of new improvements for it. They kept on, okay, it's thinner, it's a stainless steel, it's a carbon steel, it's a platinum steel, it's got a Teflon coating, it's got a whatever. They kept on doing more and more improvements, but after a certain point, all their third-party competition kept on making more and more blades. So you got this guy, Don Juan blades, and this guy, Proback or whatever, and they keep on making just the blades, not the razor handles. And they're now cutting into Gillette's profit margin. And so Gillette's like, I need something that puts all of my competitors out of business for 20 years. And that was the cartridge. So they said, okay, we're going to take this double-edged blade that's got an edge here and an edge here. We don't need all the steel in the middle. We're going to take those 2 edges, suspend them in an injection molded plastic, and then you can run that over your face. And now this entire thing is what's called a system razor. You have to buy our cartridge for our handle. I'm going to patent this connection, this little snap-on connection is a patentable item. No one else can make that. You have to buy this now. And so it connected together the handle and the blades, and it basically not only got rid of their competition, but it made them into a monopoly. And that's when Gillette went from $1 million business to $1 billion business, is when they thought of that next level, right? And that was after 65 years of being in business, they thought of that. So it took them a long time to get there. But cartridge razors for a lot of guys are fantastic and can give you a great shave. And we're not here to bash on cartridge razors, so I think it's just so easy of a trope to do. I'd rather say that if you can't get a good shave with a cartridge, or you want to reduce your bill of buying those, or you want a better experience, you can go back in time and go double edge or go straight razor, right? But for a lot of guys, cartridges do fine, and we don't need to bash on them. Like, let people use them if they want them. Honestly, I was shocked. I went to Target the other day for one of our own videos. It'll be coming out soon. And we wanted to shop at Target, shop at Walmart, shop at Fry's grocery store, and just to see what was on the shelf. I couldn't believe how much that section, that market, has grown since I got into this. I don't go there anymore. I don't go to Target. My wife does, right? So I walked in there. There was double-edged choices. There was electric razor choices. There was cartridge choices, of course. So it was like, there was a Badger shaving brush. When did you think there was gonna be a Badger shaving brush on an aisle in Target?
They now have beard products.
They have beard products there, and so our influence is definitely making a difference and making an impact on the grooming world, right? And people like Procter & Gamble are listening. In fact, Procter & Gamble just put out last year, maybe a year and a half ago, a new line of products called King C Gillette. And it was actually because of the archive department that I went and researched in. And they wanted to bring back the story of their founder. And they made a double-edged razor. They made a beard care product, a beard oil, a beard wash, a face cream, shave cream, the blades. And it was all branded. It all looked beautiful, all kind of throwback packaging. And that's now at Target. That's now at Fry's grocery store. And they did it in direct response because the double-edged world keeps on growing. And they were like, well, we need an offering. And 10 years ago, to say that Gillette was going to put a double-edged razor out was like, no, and that's never going to happen. And they finally did it. So we are changing the community. We are changing the market. And I don't think this is going away. People keep on saying like, oh, this is just a trend. It's just going to last a few more years. No, like, it keeps on growing. It's not going away. Like, no one's going to say, man, I'm getting a great shave from this double-edged razor. Looks like it's time to go buy a Fusion again. No, like, they're going to stick with it. So once you make that impact and people make that change, they're going to stick with it.
Awesome. And obviously, you guys are known for helping fixing and restoring razors of different kinds. What is that process? Why bother? What's going on? Why are people bringing in? And what is it they need?
So we probably work on 75% of our work, and the equipment back here is exclusively for double-edged razors, and another 25 or 15% maybe is going to be for like straight razors. So again, when I got started, I quickly realized there was just not a centralized service to send it to. Like, if you had to know someone like Leighton to get a straight razor sharpened, like secret code where, like, say a password at the door, or meet someone on a chat room and they could sharpen a razor for you. But there was no like place to send it to. And if you had an old Gillette razor that was really, really well made from the 1950s, made out of stamped sheet metal, and it has 15 different parts that all work together like a small machine, and it got dropped or the plating got ruined on it, there was nowhere to send it to. So I was like, hey, I can clean these up and I can charge someone a price to do this, and it could be a service. We now service 50 to 60 double-edged razors every week in here. We're servicing 20 or 30 straight razors every single week in here. So we have 7 full-time people that are doing nothing but working on vintage razors. We have become the largest place in the world to do it. And I'm here to fill that niche. Again, I got a degree in business and marketing, and I was like, hey, I want to do something that no one else is doing, and no one else is doing this, maybe for a reason, but it's been good to us, and we just keep on growing. And anytime there's new work on the horizon, new opportunity, I'll take it. In fact, this space right here that's right behind us is going to be changed in just the next week to do an entire new machining process. So I'm always looking at new things to do, new avenues to grow into.
Nice. And you get really technical dealing with the coating on the razors, fixing and restoring where maybe parts of gold or something will go off because somebody didn't necessarily take care of it right way. And there's simple mistakes people make from time to time in doing all that.
Well, some of those mistakes I made myself when I got started. You get the gold-plated razor and you come home and you use, Flitz polish on it, and you're like, hey, all the gold's gone. Why did that happen? How do I put the gold back on? So that's kind of, again, the necessity is mother of invention. And I realized that these old Gillette razors that are nickel-plated or rhodium-plated or gold-plated, like if they just were, replated again and it can look nice and shiny, like they have a whole new lease on life. They could be used for another 50 years. And no one makes razors the way Gillette did to this day, with stamped sheet metal components. Just not done. Everyone today is doing CNC milling or injection molded zinc alloy. Both have their own respective corners of the market and their own purpose and price points and stuff, but the old Gillette razors were so well made. And so, yeah, I could come in here and make an electroplating laboratory, and we can put a new coat of nickel or gold or rhodium, and now this razor can last another 50 years. We work on a lot of grandfather's razors. That's like our biggest thing. Just got a guy yesterday. My grandfather died when I was 10 years old. This is literally the only thing left I have of his. Please take good care of it. And so all of my employees know, like, we just treat every single razor like it's grandpa's razor. Because that's how I'd want my stuff treated, right? You know, it's in good hands. We want to take care of it. We're going to make sure we track it and keep an eye on it during, you know, its different places in the shop. But we want to make sure you have the ability to use that again. I always say the classic thing, like, from your grandfather, you can't wear his belt maybe, you can't wear his pants, you can't wear his glasses, you can't wear his tie, maybe everything's either too small or out of style, but like you can still use his razor. You can still have that connection with the past. And I think it's just such a unique avenue of the wet shaving experience. Like, what else are you gonna do? Maybe someone's gun, that's cool. I have my grandfather's gun, that's a cool thing. But you don't shoot a gun every day. At least I don't. If you do, cool. But you shave every day, right? So you have that constant connection to the past.
Awesome. Speaking of special and unique razors, you've actually created your own razor, and you have another company called Rex.
Yeah.
Where you guys create your own razors there. Right. Tell me about that.
So there's only so much of fixing other people's razors that you do before you say, I could do this, or I could do this better, or why didn't this ever, wasn't ever invented? Another kind of seeing a hole in the market. And I didn't want to just have a store brand. Like, I always think of, like, you go to the grocery store and you know when it's the store brand, you're like, I see what you did there. That's just a store brand. And somehow there's always a connotation that the store brand is like cheaper or lesser than the other brands. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I know. I've already spent 10 years building up one name. Let's just make another name. It's work to build that one up. And so we started an entire other LLC, and it's called Rex Supply Company. And I wanted to embody the montage, and the kind of the tagline is revisit excellence. And that's what Rex stands for. So REX, revisit excellence. I wanted to go back to the past when things were really well made in America, made out of quality materials, and kind of bring those things back. So we make a line of stainless steel American-made razors that, in my opinion, are fantastic, but I'm obviously very biased. Again, to fill the hole. No one was doing it. There was other people doing similar things, like three-piece razors. Our very first razor was the first and still only American adjustable razor. So you can actually change with a little mechanical knob on it. You can actually change the way it shaves you. And so that was an innovation that we did 5 years ago, and still no one's been able to do it. And we wanted to do something different. You know, I always say new, unique, and different. You got to hit those things. If you're not doing something new, unique, and different, you're just doing what everyone else is doing. You're gonna be background noise. You got to be the innovator. You got to be the guy, you know, the pioneer. And yeah, pioneers, they get arrows in their back when they're paving new trails. But guess what? You got to do it, man. As the founder, as the driver of your company, you got to have that energy. You got to have that vision. You got to have that dedication to do something new.
Awesome. At the end of a shave, at least this is true of me. I assume it's true for most guys, especially. Oh yeah, I totally had some.
I know. You thought I would be able to get through this.
I've been drinking more than you.
Yeah. How much is left? I got about this much.
I'm probably, I don't know. We're getting there.
He thought it was going to be really hard to get through this. My lineage is Czech and German, so I have no problem drinking.
After a nice shave, for instance, last night,
yeah.
Shaved the head, and right after the shave's done, no matter, some people want a quick shave, just get the process done. Some people are like, I don't want to spend a lot of
30 minutes.
Yeah. But even spending a lot of time, there's a sense of gratification and enjoyment once it's done, and like, oh.
Well, there's a word for that.
What's that word?
Face-turbation. It's when you can't stop touching your face. Oh, I just was so good.
That's me up here.
Yeah, we'll have to think of a new word. Let's see. Domacation.
Doma.
Like a dome or cabeza. You know, your head in Spanish, cabeza-cation.
basically. So that's typically true of most guys who do any types of shaves, and they get this sense of enjoyment.
Yeah.
What was your sense of enjoyment the first time you used the first Rex razor? Not only the enjoyment of the shave, but I helped design this razor and make this razor, and now I'm using it. What was that like?
It was a mixed bag because a lot of guys out there who have manufacturing companies in this arena, I think they do a lot of like computer modeling and CAD and like, protractors and, zoomed in visions of how the blade's gonna hit the guard. And they do it like in a scientific kind of methodology. I didn't do any of that. I literally worked with the machinist, and we would just make versions, and he'd say, okay, this version, we made this guard, a hundredth of an inch bigger, or a hundredth of an inch wider, whatever. He's like, here, A, B, and C. And I'd put them together in my bathroom, and I'd be like, huh, okay, huh. I had a little notepad, I just take notes. I like this one, I like this part with this part. And when we finally put it together, I said, this is the recipe, I want these components, and I thought it shaved great. I was like, this is great for me. I'm getting the best shaves of my life. I love it. But man, it was very nerve-wracking because we took pre-sales to kind of fund the operation. It was a big check to write to the machine shop. People always think like making a razor is easy. It's not. Go talk to a machine shop and say, hi, I want to make this thing with 3 parts and have really high tolerances. And oh yeah, I only want to pay like, nominal amount of money for this. And they're like, get out. So you have to have a good minimum. And like the minimum at the first machine shop was 500 units. And I'm like, 500 units? What if I get it wrong? And so when the razor first got put together and we started shipping them, and it was 125 customers bought it at first. And I was like waiting with bated breath by my email account, like, someone please tell me, is this good? And granted, I'd given it to 1 or 2 like local customers to use. And they're like, yeah, this is good, yeah. But I'm like, this is a lot of money on the line. I had like literally risked my entire financial kind of future. I put all my eggs in this one basket. Is this gonna work or not? And then the reviews started coming in. It's fantastic, it's phenomenal, it's the best razor ever. And some people are like, oh, it's too aggressive. You can't get everyone, but the majority of people thought it was fantastic. And that's actually when I enjoyed it, because in shaving it for myself, that was like an easy hurdle to do. I'm like, yeah, I can make this so I like it. But do other people like it? Is it market viable? Can I sell these? Can I get, have a repeat business here, a return on my investment? And that was actually the most satisfactory part, is that other people like it. I'm not crazy. And I've kind of come to see, I must have a really tricky beard when I was 15 and 17 years old, cursing myself for having a hard beard to shave and prone to ingrown hairs. I was saying how unfortunate I am. But now, being able to tailor products around me, I think it's been able to help other guys out there who are in the same position, who have got tough beards to shave, or prone to redness, or irritation, or ingrown hairs. And if I can make it work for me, I can make it work for them. So that honestly brings me the most amount of satisfaction. Because I know how it felt. Like when I was working at the hospital, I had to wear a shirt and tie every day. And I remember getting that irritation on my neck from the tie. And I remember like looking in the mirror and just feeling so self-conscious and like what is wrong with me? Why can my dad shave and not have any irritation? My brothers can use a rusty piece of glass and not have any irritation. Why am I the only one? It's all this. But then to kind of conquer that and overcome it, I was like Hercules, like Samson, like, yeah, okay, we got it. We did this. It was very rewarding.
That's exciting. With double-edged razors, safety razors, is there a better proper term for that? Safety razors?
No, they're kind of, safety means it has a guard. And you can actually make a straight razor into a safety razor. In fact, that was part of the transition. So in 1875, the Campy brothers started putting a guard over the straight edge. Like a regular straight razor, just put a guard on it. So that you can't basically go too horizontal to cut yourself. It would catch on the guard, and you would just ride the guard. And that would set your angle, right? And so you can have a straight razor become a safety razor with a guard. So safety razor just means a guard. And so double edge is a kind of safety razor. It's like saying a convertible is a kind of car. Okay. But they're all cars.
Yeah. Right on. So you have the safety razors, the double edge razors, and then you have the razor blades that you put in them. Mm-hmm. And I recognize there's a wide variety of companies out there that make various blades.
Oh, yeah.
There's a wide variety of companies that make the handles
That's
and the
right.
razors themselves. Is there a typical perfect combo for the two, or because every guy's different and the face is different, different combinations will work for different individuals?
And that's the beauty. This is like Linux. This is all open source, and that's why it's so cool, because I can talk to a customer and he says, I love Gillette Platinum blades. I love feather blades. I love Astra blades. I'm like, I hate Astra blades, or I hate feather blades, but I'm glad they work for you. And so we're not, the Gillette model today it's one size fits all, right? It's like a bowling shoe. It doesn't fit anyone that great, but it works for everybody, okay? Double edge or single edge or straight razors, it's completely opposite. It's a tailored experience. It's having a product that works great for you. It's about experimentation. I always tell people, they're like, what's your recommendation? I want the best double edge blade. I want the best. I'm like, I'm sorry, you need to buy a bunch and try a bunch.
Trial and error.
Trial and error. So we sell sample packs of blades, and even the handles. I always tell people, buy a Merkur, buy an Edwin Jagger, buy a Rex, buy a Gillette, whatever. Try a bunch of different stuff. You have to sell them off. That's okay. This is your new hobby, everyone. Anyone who thinks you're doing this for a function and not for fun, you're missing it. That'd be like saying that you're playing an instrument or drinking beer for some utilitarian purpose. No, you're doing it for fun, right? And part of this whole experience is having fun, enjoying your shave. It's not a monotonous routine. It's not this, chore. Oh, I gotta shave before work. No, you get to. You have the privilege of opening up a tub of Old Kentucky by WSP. You have the privilege of opening up, a lavender soap. You have the privilege of trying a Russian blade and a Japanese blade. You have all these different choices. It's very open source. Tailor it for yourself. Find what's best for you. Rock. Just have fun with it.
Awesome. Right on. Well, I can't think of any more questions to ask on razors.
I'm impressed with the questions you asked. I was looking around if you had a little notepad somewhere, on your hand, because these questions were really good and they kept on coming, and they were good leading from one to the next. So I'm impressed. You're a good interviewer.
Oh, well, thank you. In regards, okay, one last question.
Sure.
In regards to Matt.
Sure.
Maybe it's Rex.
Okay.
Or I know collectors out there. You said maybe there's the trial and error. You buy and figure out what works for you, and then after that you start collecting. But I know a lot of people will have various razors, various brushes,
sure,
various soaps, and they interchange from day to day or week to week, trying different things. What are your go-tos? What do you enjoy, whether it's Rex or other companies? What's a Matt razor?
It's going to sound like a shameless plug, but I still use the Rex Ambassador probably the most. My first razor from 2017. Again, I tailored it around me, and so I used it last night. It provides to me the best shave. I have a couple other razors I like. I like the Edwin Jaggers. I've always really dug Edwin Jagger razors, and I had a unique privilege of meeting Neil Jagger in Las Vegas. We did a convention together. Great guy, solid guy. I like the old Gillettes. I like the Fat Boy. Yeah, I like the Red Tip. There's some classic Gillette razors that are just still phenomenal. But in terms of a brush, I've had lots of. I've had a WSP brush before. I've had some Boar brushes. We now have a Razor Emporium brush that's like a $25 Best Badger. I just like it. It's kind of scrubby. It makes a good lather. It was free for me. Part of my job, honestly, is to actually beat up stuff. So, for instance, the $25 Razor Emporium brush, I literally trash it. I brought home 2 or 3. I use one. My kids like to come in the bathroom and shave with me, and so I give them a little soap, and they'll sit there and they push the badger bristles in and destroy them. And I'm like, well, they're trying it. It's like that machine at IKEA that keeps on pushing the chair down to see how many times it'll spring back. So my kids sit there and we don't clean them out. We let them just sit on the counter with soap. We don't hang them upside down. We just try to destroy them. But they haven't fallen apart yet. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of like the guinea pig testing this stuff out. And I'm sure other guys out there who own businesses can relate. Sometimes your job is to take the stuff home and try to destroy it or try to see how good or how bad it is. So a lot of time my brush is maybe something I'm working on, or my razor is a new prototype of something. A lot of my stuff too is because facial hair only grows so much. I do a lot of videos. I have to review a lot of stuff, so I'm constantly, hi everyone, I'm on set today using this, and now I got to figure out, okay, well, this was okay, this was really great. So there's so much trial in there. But I don't have the setup that these guys think. They think that they're going to walk in my bathroom and see gold-plated Fat Boys and rhodium-plated brushes. No, it's like I have stuff that's very utilitarian. Even the finish on the Rex razor is a brushed stainless steel finish. It's meant to be cleaned with like a 3M scrub pad and detergent and be good and look beautiful. I actually made the finish the complete opposite of what we do here. You know, I'm constantly having to see if my gold has a little scratch in it from something, or someone breathed on top of the rhodium and there's a little, you know, watermark on it or something. Like, I have to pay attention to the decorative plating so much. I wanted the Rex stuff to be utilitarian, so it's all brush finished steel and it's very manly looking and it looks like something that would, you know, be on like a submarine in the Cold War. But I did that on purpose because I hated having to keep on paying attention. Like, when we do plating, I'll literally hold it up, and sometimes, you know, I have magnifiers. I have to look at something under a magnifying glass. Oh, there's a scratch. Nope, gotta redo that. I did not want that for my razors. Ah, there's a bell. Yeah, so that's kind of the impetus for what my stuff is. I'm more of a utilitarian than I am someone who likes decoration and fluff.
Right on. And just for those who are just starting in this world, what piece of advice can you give to those who are just jumping into this world? And to end this video off, it's all over your shirt, but where can people find you? YouTube, website,
Go to interwebs and go to Google and just type Razor Emporium and the rest will come. Go to YouTube or videos and click Razor Emporium. You can see our stuff. You can see our website. We've done so much over the years that it's very easy to find us. It's not hard. My advice for you, if you're out there and you're watching this video and you're thinking about this and you're mad at your shaving routine and you're mad at the way you look in the mirror and you feel self-conscious or you feel unmanly because you can't tame your beard and get a good shave, jump on the train, jump on board right now. Stop thinking about it. Don't die a death of pontification. It's so easy, especially with so many different options, to say, it's like when you're at the restaurant, like a Cheesecake Factory, and there's 17 pages, and you're like, what am I going to order? Don't do that. Just buy something. Buy the El Grande from WSP for $30. Buy a Mercur 34 HD for $50. Buy an Edwin Jagger. Buy a Gillette Super Speed for $10 at the thrift store. Just buy something. Just get started. Because if you get started and you keep on chasing experimentation and you know, trial and error, you'll go down the path and you'll have a great opportunity to change up your routine. But so many people are looking for the best. Oh, what's the best? What's the best? The best is not the best. The best is the best for you. It's a very subjective thing. I love objective reality, but this is a very subjective thing. There's no best. It's what's best for you, and the experimentation, the process of learning is the fun. And there's going to be moments where you're going to wake up and say, God, that feather blade, it scraped my skin, I hate it. And you're going to have to try something else. That's part of this, guys. There's going to be opportunities where you're going to use a very, very scented soap and your face is going to look red and puffy afterwards. And you say, well, I guess I can't use heavily scented soaps anymore. Or I may need to go something that's a vegan base instead of a tallow base, or something that's meant for sensitive skin. Whatever you do, just keep on experimenting, keep on trying. Don't sit there and not make a decision because there's too many choices to make. Just jump in, try something, get started. It's fun. I promise that the water is not too deep. You'll have fun with it. But you know, get involved. You know, do it. Just do it.
It's fun. I love it. It's been great. I've been enjoying this world. A lot of people think when they talk to me that I'm a beard guy, and I am a beard guy. I love the beard, but shaving's just as important. Everyone forgets I shave the head, so this journey for myself.
How could we forget? It's so shiny.
this journey's been a lot of fun, and I'm constantly learning as yourself, and it's been great. Matt, thank you, and one more time, awesome beer,
Cheers.
love it.
Hefeweizen.
Cheers to you guys out there.